Next on the Penn Street chopping block is the Liever building, which is located at 437 Penn Street in Reading. Due to its prime location on the square, we can be certain that this site was one of the earliest settled in the city. Around the turn of the 20th century, this property had two distinct frontages. A June 14, 1894 Reading Times article announced the grand opening of Collar's Ice Cream Parlor, which occupied the ground level of both buildings. In 1907, a deed transferring ownership to William Griscom described them as two 3-story brick buildings, addressed 439 and 441 Penn Street. In 1922, the two buildings were purchased by Hyman Liever. Liever was a Jewish-born immigrant who came to the United States during the oppressive reign of Tsar Nicholas II in 1907. The earliest record I could find, a 1910 census, placed him at 620 South 7th Street. This is also near where he operated his business, the Berks County Bottling Works, at 409 South 6th. In 1922, Hyman formed Liever Realty Co. with his sons and immediately began purchasing real estate within the city. One of his oldest sons, Israel, was childhood best friends and business partners with Prohibition kingpin Max Hassel. In fact, it has been speculated that Hyman, due to his connections in bottling, introduced Max to the brewers in which he would sling beer during Prohibition. Hyman himself worked closely with Reading Brewing for the first few years of Prohibition, but allegedly decided to get into real estate as an alternative after federal crackdowns on brewing full-strength beer in the mid-20s. However, Hyman didn't totally get out of the game. In January of 1922, just 2 months before he bought this property, he purchased 58 properties from the Reading Brewing Company, most of which were being used as speakeasies. Hyman was also one of the founders of the Kesher Zion Synagogue on Perkiomen Avenue. Liever had the facade of this building completely rebuilt, making it appear as one structure. We can only really speculate as to why, but it's worth noting that the Farmers Bank right next door was being built at the same time, so it was likely an attempt to update the look of the block. At the time he purchased the building, the Consumers Gas Company had their main offices on the 441 side of the building, and a physician named Dr. J.C. McCoy operated out of 439. After 1923, the building was referenced to in both the Eagle and the Times as the Liever Building. In the 1960s, UGI operated their offices here. The building continued to stay in the Liever family until 1969 when it was sold to the Haverty Burks Real Estate Co. In 1978, it became a part of American Bank's Project Keystone, which renovated all of the buildings between 431 and 449 Penn Street into their corporate office space. The bank operated out of the buildings until Meridian sold them in 1995. It is unclear if it's been occupied since. It is currently at risk for being demolished by the city due to neglect since their ownership in 2013. Only Liever's century-old facade has a chance of being saved if Reading's Historical Architectural Review Board has their way.